And the cherries. Grab some cherries.
Yeah. Tracy went and broke her booty shorts out. Kareem bought the rollerblades and jorts out. It's summertime, feel how you feel. Epic fam, love it long as it's authentic and real. I put the grill on, baby, we gon' eat whatever. My Uncle Phil on, judging, but I keep it clever. We go for better. This is a song you might enjoy if you take a shower.
It's your boy,
why you
JS
annoy,
Supplier,
give it about an hour.
BBCRadio.com, Aries Lounge, 1-on-1. We are in the building. I don't know what he's doing, but yo, we are back for another monumental moment. I've got another local legend, like whole legend, not a partial legend, you a whole legend out here, bro.
Thanks, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're up there with like the Yeti and whether aliens exist. Like you were up there, legendary. Like it's up there. Like, you know, and there are stories about you that float around all over the planet. You know what I'm saying? There are images and pictures of you that's like, what's going on in these moments? You know what I mean? Yo, legendary guy, man. Performer, writer, you know what I'm saying? Political activist, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like you're a political operative?
Yeah,
Yo, you can put that on there. That's actually an accurate job title for you. Like,
yeah, I lived a bunch of lifetimes, that's for sure.
That's
A bunch
crazy.
of different lifetimes already.
Yo, and he is a patron of local bars
Oh, yeah.
all
very
over the
much
country.
so.
Like, yeah, definitely a good old time guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I got Easy Jackson in the building, man.
Yeah, man. What's good, bro?
How the hell?
I'm good, man. I feel like I ain't seen you in forever. I mean, everybody. Like,
Yeah,
through
I
quarantine
realized that we
and
hadn't seen each other in forever. You was like, yeah, should I come by the office? And I'm like, it's been, that office is way in the past, bro. Way in the past. But you know what I'm saying? I think life has just taken both of us on a crazy roller coaster ride, you know what I'm saying, of sorts.
Yeah.
And you are back in these streets with
man.
a new album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, an EP.
Yeah.
I apologize. You know what I mean? With a wide variety of sounds, I feel like you're becoming. I think you're becoming more and more comfortable with experimentation sonically. So like, you know what I mean? With the, I'm like, oh, okay, we got the trap joint in the beginning, then a relationship joint, then you kind of slip back into some trap a little bit, and then you know what I mean? You give me one or two more of those boom bap joints, and you out of here. Like, thank God for that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I have an affinity for Easy Jackson on boom bap.
Thanks, man.
That's my preference. My Griselda Easy Jackson.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody has a version of Easy Jackson they prefer. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'm having fun playing with all the things. You know what I mean?
As well as you
just
should.
like, yeah, you know, a lot of people like the boom bap. A lot of people like when I talk, you know, when I do the love stuff and sing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some people just won't let Be Great go. That's their song.
Hey, that's a moment, bro.
They're sticking to that.
That was a legendary moment.
You know, so it's like, you know, I'm having fun, man. This EP is going to be my last one for a while.
What's going on?
Because I just started my own label, Epic Fam. Me and my man Dermel, we started Epic Fam, and I'm moving into that seat of CEO, producer, executive producer, and wanting to work with the younger artists and really kind of help them with their careers and you know, getting into that role more. Not that I'm not going to make another album. I just the next time I make an album, I want to have the kind of budget I want. You know what I mean? To really, you know, fly in the kind of features I want, and work with the musicians I want, record in the studios that I want to record in and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But for now, I'm real excited about the artists on my label, the artists in our collective, and really just trying to push that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Damn,
man.
that's deep. That's deep. All right, well, we got to go into official one-on-one status mode. We got to get
Let's
the
go.
beginning. Where is Easy Jackson born and raised? Where was he born and raised?
Yeah, I was born in New York, actually. I was born in Manhattan.
New York.
I was born in Manhattan, New York. But
we have been infected by New Yorkers in Baltimore.
Well, no, I would say I was transferred to the appropriate city.
Okay. You are definitely a Baltimorean.
Yeah, I'm a Baltimore nigga. We moved here when I was 9.
Okay.
You feel me? So, my accent is a little different. I feel like sometimes people say, like, you don't talk like most Baltimore people, but the New York part left by the time I was 12. You know what I mean? And so, you know, You drop me off somewhere in New York, I don't know where the hell I'm at. You get blindfold me, you get blindfold me, throw me in the trunk, drive me around all night. You drop me off anywhere in Baltimore, I'm getting home.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
I walk a couple blocks down the street. I'm looking for the big street. I'm be like, oh, this Perrin Parkway. All I gotta do is go that way. So you feel me? This city really like, you know, I don't know. I love the fact that I grew up here. You know what I mean? It's just an authentic rawness here that I just never seen nowhere else. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
So
that's a fact.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question is: before you could touch the radio, before you had permission to decide what the household was listening to, because you are of that generation where.
Yeah.
You know, there was normally one sound system that kind of like permeated through the house. So in that time period, before you could touch the radio, what was the family listening to?
My father actually still had an 8-track.
Jesus.
And I remember we had he liked to listen to Stevie Wonder. He was huge Sade fan. My father loved Sade. My father actually was a poet and a singer. My mother's a spoken word poet. She was, and my father was a painter. And when we were in New York, they were in like the early Greenwich Village area. And if you ever hear about Greenwich Village, it's like a whole arts renaissance happening during that time. So Sade, you know, late 70s, early 80s or something, is like a local singer, you know, circulating through these same open mics and stuff as my father. So he kind of like watched her rise and was just always a huge supporter of Sade. I remember we had the Ghostbusters soundtrack on 8-track at one time. And that was my joint. Like that was my little one. Yeah.
We're gonna have to take control. Bobby Brown.
Yeah, man, and everything. Whitney Houston. My mother loved Whitney. You know, I think a lot of like typical black music. You know, like I said, Marvin Gaye, Temptations. My family loved the Temptations. My parents loved Sly and the Family Stone. You know, George Clinton, P-Funk All-Stars, all the things.
Yeah, the traditional black family.
All the black music. We got all of it. Yeah.
So coming out of that, when was the first? Do you remember the first time you were kind of introduced to like hip hop? You know what I'm saying? Because I think and just give you an example, my house kind of leaned more towards the funkadelics and like party music because my dad was like a huge party guy. But I think my first introduction to hip hop came in the form of like Kid and Play, Heavy D, stuff like that. And then like NWA and Public Enemy came like right over top of that.
Yeah.
So like it was just different for me. So what was the first things that you heard?
It's funny. I was introduced to the art of rapping before I actually was introduced to hip hop music.
How in the world?
Yeah, I know
happening?
it's wild. It's wild. So we got put in foster care. Me and my siblings, we were put in foster care.
Gotcha.
So I lived in Lafayette Gardens Projects in Brooklyn, and that's Decepticons area.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, the '80s, you know, it was gang Decepticons. You know, little kids, us from around the way, they called us baby Deceps, whatever. But them dudes used to rap a lot in the park. You know what I mean? In the cul-de-sac out in front of the projects. So I saw actual rapping taking place before I actually got introduced to the music. So fast forward, I moved to Baltimore, and my brother, who was like a year and 9 months older than me, my brother Salim was being raised by my grandmother. So because we were close in age, I would go over there and spend time with him. And Salim, my brother Salim, put me on to Digging in the Crates crew.
Wow.
That was my first real like introduction to hip hop, cause I liked Diggable Planets and I liked MC Hammer, not Diggable Planets, Digital Underground. I like Digital Underground and MC Hammer. And
You know how
like
drastically different they are.
yeah, totally different. Because once I linked up with my brother was like, oh, that's commercial rap, like that's bullshit. Like listen to this. So I got into Digging in the Crates, and then Diggable Planets came along, and Wu-Tang, and it, my brother kind of shaped my hip hop taste. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To that which was really speaking to, speaking from our situations. You know what I
Right.
mean? Instead of, I was a kid, so of course I liked Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
of course I liked MC Hammer. You know what I'm saying? But he would bring me, no, yo, listen to this little finesse shit. Listen to, you know, showbiz and AG and shit like that. So, yeah, man, that was my real introduction to hip hop.
Now I'm sitting here for the first time in my life. I've asked this question 1,000 times, but you're the first person to show me the separation and that somebody separated the two worlds because nobody was there to tell me that MC Hammer was commercial.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed listening
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, me
and then
too.
my brother was into it too. So
Yeah.
he was like, yo, it's all lit. You know what I mean?
My brother burst my bubble. He was like, yo, turn that trash off, yo. Turn that shit off.
And that ain't real.
I was hyped about my MC Hammer tape, man. I liked Vanilla Ice too. I was hyped. But then he really broke the Vanilla Ice shit to me. He's like, nah, yo, that's their culture vultures.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? He really schooled me to what hip hop was. You know what
So
I mean?
when NWA comes out, he's totally against it. Because I remember a lot of people not banging with West Coast.
No, the funny thing about NWA was my mother loved NWA and Public Enemy.
You were the luckiest guy to
Yo,
ever live.
it was so wild. It was so wild. Like my mother was, like I said, she was a poet, but she was really into Public Enemy, and I think we thought that was cool because most kids' parents wasn't trying to listen to that shit. But you come on my house, my mother would be blasting that shit.
God.
You know, like fuck the police. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like 911 is a joke. You know what I mean? Like so we were kind of lucky in that regard. I think my mom's was really like revolutionary anyway. You know what I mean? So she liked the fact that young guys were speaking so boldly and telling our stories like that.
So she ended up from NWA. She probably gradually moved into Paris, loving Paris music, and then out of that comes, before Paris comes Public Enemy, and Public Enemy they started producing for Paris, which is a West Coast artist, and he was doing like more conscious stuff, and then into that comes like I think that time period was like the early to mid 90s, and then we was all wearing Malcolm X hats like this, well they didn't have that hats back in the day, but they was like baseball hats and the like little medallions with the African and all that.
Yeah,
and
I got in trouble. I got in trouble because I mooned somebody in the cafeteria. And my excuse was that my mother had just got me these Malcolm X boxers. Like there was boxers that had Malcolm X. So I lied and said, I wasn't mooning nobody. I was showing somebody the boxes you just bought me. But yeah, she had me, in the medallion and X hats and all that stuff. She was a huge. We walked through Spike Lee's whole career together, like with my mom's. You know what I'm saying? Like coming from New York, she knew about Spike. You know what I mean? And so from the first movie, you know what I'm saying? We watched Spike's whole. Yeah,
Ascension
you know what I mean?
man.
I had a black ass mother, bro.
That needs to be on the t-shirt. I got a black ass mother, bro.
I had a black ass mother, bro.
So when was the first time that you decided that I want to go from an observer to like let me participate? Was it writing first or was it maybe breakdancing or something else?
Yeah, it was writing first. Because my mother did poetry. And my mother was a full-time poet, you know what I mean? So I was already, like my kids are, it's nothing for them to, when they feel something, write it down, write it in poetry. It's the same when I was growing up, you know what I mean? My mother was always writing, so I picked up that hip-hop was my generation's poetry. Mm-hmm. So, I was like 8, I was writing rhymes, but then I never spit outside, you know what I mean? I was always intimidated by those guys, but I just watch in fascination, you know what I'm saying? And like, so I soaked it up and soaked it up and soaked it up and soaked it up. And I would say like around 8th grade, I was up at Southeast Middle School and we started rapping at the lunch table. And it was almost like I had been practicing at home, you know what I mean? Like for the first time, I would see what these little rhymes are like, in front of people. And they're like, oh shit. I was a singer for real. Like girls like to hear me sing. You know what I mean? And then
you was on your R&B wave.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Like I had a little Tevin.
So it was Easy Lover before it was Easy Jackson.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, something like that. I had like a little Tevin Campbell voice, so you know what I mean. Like before puberty and everything hit, I could hit like I sang Ben. People loved for me to sing Michael Jackson Ben, and but the girls liked it, and the guys used to kind of hate on me. You know, I get beat up
Natural.
and shit. I get backed and shit for singing to somebody's girl. I wasn't singing to your girl, yo. Like they all asked me to sing, so I sang. You singing to my girl for? So, but then I started rapping and everybody liked that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started kind of stick with that, and really kind of through school I was just always rapping.
So, which MC was the biggest influence that may have that influenced like your cadence and your presentation?
I would say probably a mix between Nas and Black Thought.
Okay,
Those I would say lyrically are two of my favorite MCs of all times. Kool G rap. I like the way Kool G would tell stories. I like Kool G's storytelling. I like Gangstar's storytelling. But Nas and Thought just always did it in the smoothest way to me. You know what I mean? So I would say them two. Yeah.
So when you could buy your first album or single, what with your own money, what was the first thing that you bought?
That was the MC Hammer joint.
Which MC Hammer joint?
So it was
Too Legit to Quit?
Yeah, it was Too Legit to Quit. Too Legit to Quit. And not Too Legit to Quit.
Oh, what?
What was the first? Too Legit was the first one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it? It's Hammer Time, or something like that.
Nah, it's not Hammer Time. Wasn't the first one.
It was Too Legit to Quit.
It had to be.
Yeah, because they did the whole movie. They had a whole bro. I had my mother take me to Blockbuster. I got the MC Hammer movie because they did the songs as part. It was like a musical movie.
It's on YouTube now. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube.
I gotta do that I'm
gonna send you the link, yo.
I gotta
do that.
I gotta do that for
I don't
nostalgia.
feel as bad anymore. I got support.
No, I got my mother actually used to get me tapes from Monument Street. Back in the day on Monument Street, the Muslims used to be out there with the tapes.
Right, with the bootleg tapes.
Yeah, so my mother would, Fridays she would get her something and then she'd get me a tape.
Right.
And then the first tape, I think the first tape I actually paid my own money for was MC Hammer.
I'm not mad at you, brother. I'm not mad at you. That was probably around. Yeah, I had Bobby Brown, MC Hammer, I had
Daddy
Kid and
Kane
Play.
had the joint chocolate.
Black chocolate, no sugar, no cream.
No, that's Heavy D, Black Coffee. No. Now, my mother loved Heavy D.
Yeah.
She swore by Heavy D. I always thought Heavy D was corny.
Wow.
I know everybody say that. I was so when I was
he was created and marketed towards women,
right?
100%.
You know what I mean? I was Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
They almost existed in two different time periods, even though it might have been a 2 or 3 year space between them.
Well, no, but remember he was still he actually was hitting his pinnacle when he dropped Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, and Is It Good to You? That was Wu-Tang was coming up
at that time period. I just don't equate them together at all.
You don't. Nobody does. But they were on the radio at the same time.
That's a fact.
And then he had the boys, Soul For Real.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He was doing this thing.
He was killing it.
And my mother was loving it. And I just used to be like, God, with the Heavy D, bro. Every day, you gonna play Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream.
Can I put this 36 chambers in, please,
right.
Mama? No.
No, she was not.
Run it back one more time. Let's do the dance now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, all right. This is a deep question, and only real Wu-Tang fans can understand this. How deep did you get into the Wu? Because Wu had levels.
Yeah.
Wu had levels. Wu had subsidiaries, and how deep did you get?
I went Venom. That was the female group they had.
Oh, you might have got the single because they ain't never dropped no album.
They never dropped the album?
They ain't never dropped no album, but they had a single, though.
We had their maxi single then. Because they had a joint. We used to steal maxi singles from Sam Goody.
I'm not mad at you.
So Venom, I know we had them. Definitely Sons of Man.
Yup. Killer Army.
Killer Army all day.
Wu Syndicate.
Wu Syndicate. I think Wu Syndicate might be the deepest I went. When people started popping up on the West Coast and all that, I didn't follow. All that. I was like, all right, y'all.
Yo, the compilation CDs got complicated for me. Like, 'cause when they did the Wu Killer B joint, the compilation album, it was just too much stuff that I didn't get. Like, all right, you gave me too many names at one time.
It was just like, yo, who's available to come to the studio today? And niggas was just dropping in.
Yeah, it got crazy for a while. But like all of the main affiliates, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I tell people you're not a Wu fan if you don't have like the first 10 Wu albums. So like you had to have 36 Chambers, you had to have Method, you had to have Ray, you had to have Ghost, you had to have Jizza.
Yep.
You had to have
Capadonna, the Pillage.
You had to have Capadonna. You had to have the second Wu solo album. Who
Raekwon,
else? Yep, I had Raekwon. We had Ghost, and I'm trying to think.
You got,
and then you had to have. You got came later. But you know, what I mean,
did drop it. He did drop his solo.
He dropped a couple solo joints. But I feel like, all right. And Killer Priest, because Killer Priest had a crazy first album.
Yeah,
He had a crazy first album. And it came out around the same time Jizza's joint came out. So they kind of went into a package deal. But then I feel like there came the second regime after those first classic albums that weren't taken with as much care.
Right.
Like people didn't care about. So that's when I feel like You God came in, like RZA. Even though RZA had kind of a legendary album, I still feel like they dropped the ball on that. They could have done so much better.
Yeah.
And that whole second generation is when they started kind of falling off. Master Killer came out, and then Inspector Deck. I feel like the last really super dope Wu album was that Inspector Deck album, the first Inspector solo.
Yeah,
joint.
people slept on that one, man. I feel like it got flack. Like a lot of people were saying it wasn't all that. And
the joint with him and Pete Rock and what you call it? That's
that
crazy. That album was phenomenal.
I think at the time too, people didn't get like Deck had a lane and a style that you know what I mean was. You know what I mean? Not as colorful as a lot of the other Wu members.
Right.
But boy, I remember seeing him and Jizza in Purchase, New York. It was incredible. Like, first of all, like I was just like, that's random. Like it's just Deck and Jizza.
Right.
But bro,
they could hold it down on their own.
They killed it, yo. Like they murdered that joint, yo. That shit. That was an epic moment in my life. That was one of the more influential, I think, concerts or shows I've been to. I was like, you see your people, your idols on stage, and it's like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Word.
Yeah.
That's deep. So you come in, it seems like you have a well-balanced influence of the commercial stuff with the underground too. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like you weren't as hardcore as your brother was. That was just like, forget about this whole section.
Yeah.
I'm just focusing on this.
Yeah.
I think that influenced the way you create for real, because I really do feel like, yo, this nigga, you have the radio record, even though you may not try to.
Yeah.
But like the ladies joint on this one, that's a
nice
radio
like
record.
this.
That's so easy. Like, this is a
Yeah.
good transition joint. I think the general populace will be into, and then if they want to go deep into the Easy Jackson catalog, which it gets kind of deep.
Yeah.
And scary, you can do that if you wanted to. You know what I mean? So you start writing.
Yeah.
You still young, so you going to school spitting, so people banging with you. So when's the first time you like, all right, is it your choice to go hit the studio, or was somebody like, yo, come and we gonna record something?
Ooh, yeah, I had a crew in high school at Baltimore School for the Arts. And one of my homeboys, shout out my man Flip's still the homie. Flip, his mother had a studio. Matter of fact, around here.
Wow.
On Denland.
Right.
Denland or Denison? Denison.
I'll be Denison.
Denison. No. I lived between Fairview between Edgewood and Denison, Denland. So his mom lived up on Denland, and she had a record label.
Really?
Yeah. She had a record label, and they had a studio in the back. So she, he came to her and said, I got this group at school, and so she started letting us record. I actually lost my virginity in the studio.
Shout out to you, Ma.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure she...
Did you hear that?
She didn't hear anything. from her eyeballs, it looked like she heard
just
everything.
looked up. Did it.
She looked like she heard everything.
But yeah, like so, that's wild. I even remember just threw that in there. But yeah, that studio, that was the first time I ever really, really like got in the studio and got recording. They were like, he was like, yo, my mother got the studio, like let's record, and yeah, and I loved it ever since. Like I was like, this is.
So who was making the beats at the time? Because we still talking about the 90s here. So it wasn't no computer or YouTube to download beats from. Like somebody had to be cooking it up. So who was cooking up?
I can't even remember the guy's name now, but there was this guy that she had was like one of her producers. And damn, I wish Flip was here because Flip remembers everybody's names. But he actually had a studio in his house over in McCullough Homes.
Got you.
And so we used to go over at his house after school, and then on the weekends we would come to
her studio.
So he was making beats. He was making like just mad beats.
What was the sound like?
It was he had a little bit of everything. He used to try to make a little bit of everything, but for us, it was very boom bap underground. We wanted to be grave diggers. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to be grave diggers.
Damn, y'all Wu-Tang. Y'all influenced all of us, bro. We all wanted to have that gritty, grimy New York sound.
I walked from Harlem Avenue, Harlem and Myrtle. I walked from Harlem and Myrtle up to Mondawmin the day that the Purple tape dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And I had saved up my money. I bought the tape and I bought up my little boombox, and I walked back down Pennsylvania Avenue and around that whole neighborhood that whole summer playing Only Built for Cuban Links, Method Man to Cal, and Gravediggers album.
The first Gravediggers album? Or the second Gravediggers
the first Gravediggers.
That's a hard to find CD now.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
I think it's hard to find. I don't know if it's on streaming. I'm gonna have to look that up as soon as it's over. That was a part of the essential early Wu-Tang pack. Like if you talking about that's an essential first of the 10 albums. Like yo.
So we wanted to be them. So a lot of the beats were like rough like that. I remember he had this one joint where he sampled Ghostface. And he was like, yo, Shell Baby's wicked like Nimrods. And we did this whole thing called Nimrods. Like, we had this whole, like, song called Nimrods.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, you get, when do you get signed to the label eventually? Or she just allowed y'all to just create at your leisure?
Yeah, but then the label kind of fizzled. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The label fizzled. We end up graduating from high school. Everybody kind of goes their separate way. I don't want to go to college, so I go into the Navy. All the homies, they went around, different colleges and stuff. And I'm in the Navy, and like it's just fucking weird, bro. Like it's like military, and I'm not used to that environment. People not used to somebody walking around singing and rapping all the time. So I'm definitely like not in my element. You know what I mean? Right. So I do that for 4 years, and then I was like, yo, I'm gonna come home, and so this is like 2002. I come home and I'm just like, I had read an article by where Russell Simmons was saying, if you want a major label to take you seriously, your city has to know you. And so I was at that place. I was 22. I was fresh out the Navy. I had money saved up. It's like, do I move somewhere new,
right,
or do I come home and jump into
the
scene? So I came home, and I met. First people I ran into was Brownfish, and them from Brownfish. My sisters were like hanging out with them. My sisters was actually like they were running around with Drew Hill at one point, but I was in the military.
Right.
But when Drew Hill first popped, they were like hanging out with them. One of my sisters, still good friends with China, one of the girls that they ended up signing.
Oh, to the what is called Love Her.
Love Her, yeah, Love Her, yeah, Love Her.
Got you.
So my sister and her still cool.
I'm gonna need that connect.
Yeah. So when I came home, they were like, yo, they introduced me to and Brownfish and them, And I just jumped in. I started showing up.
Was Ogun hanging with them around that time
Yep,
too?
Ogun
Okay,
was
cool.
around.
All
I
right.
started going to Five Seasons and all that stuff. I remember I bought Ogun's Oil and Water CD. I really just wanted to know who in Baltimore was doing it, and I became a fan of my city's music right away.
Yep.
Boss Man, Mully Man, Scar Akbar, my man T Mac, rest in peace.
Smash.
Smash, uh, K Mac, Knoxville. But see, with K Mac and them, we was fans of them before
In the 90s, because they was dropping records back then. Right.
So Concrete, I was already in the Concrete and LMS and all of them. And so I came home looking for them. And then I found all of these other artists that were now doing their thing. And I just kind of, for a long time, I was like a fly on the wall. You know what I mean? I just wanted to soak it up and just, you know what I mean, I was a fan, you know what I mean? So I was just happy to see that, artists in my city were doing it, and I wanted to support, and I would show up and do all that. But, at night, I was still writing my stuff and still going and recording when I could. And then, finally started getting up there, signing them open mic lists and, you know what I mean, doing it. And,
Word.
yeah.
It's crazy how Baltimore City's poetry scene ends up being the glue and the catalyst for a lot of hip hop that came out.
You know what's wild was that we were accepted.
Right.
And that tripped me out because when I was in the Navy, I would go to open mics wherever I was at. So, Virginia, I find open mic in Virginia if I'm in, and, if I'm they send me off to a school somewhere. I would look up and find open mics, and I noticed that a lot of the open mics in other places would frown upon rappers getting up there.
Right.
But in Baltimore, it was encouraged.
Right.
It was like, yo, that's still poetry.
Right.
But that was my mother being a poet, and her. We grew up going to open mics with her. That was a different era.
Right.
But they taught us that same thing. So I come to find out that a lot of the leaders at that time of the open mic scene were like me. They were our mother's children. You know what I mean? Who were like, no, these young people are speaking through their language, and it's poetry, and it's welcome. You know what I mean? So I thought that was ill. You know what I mean? Because I had been to other open mics in other places where somebody get up there and rap, and you just see people in the room going,
yeah. It was judgmental. It was judgmental.
Yeah.
I think also the hip hop artists were so displaced. They needed a place.
Yeah.
And it just became we gotta let them in, you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have anywhere else to call home, and some of the poets were aspiring MCs. Some of the great poets were MCs. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Some of the great MCs were poets.
Yeah.
So I feel like that blending of the two worlds. Even I was just talking to Frazier from City of Gods, and he was talking about how his first intersection, because he's from New York too.
Yeah.
Intersection was going to the poetry spots.
Yeah.
And then him discovering this wealth of talent. You know what I mean? That was a part of it. So, all right. So you start penning it. You seeing all these different people. You start signing signing the paperwork. Not paperwork, but you signing up to do performances. When does it start going into serious recording mode for Easy?
Soul Cannon.
Okay.
My band, when I got with Soul Cannon.
Now, was it Soul Cannon before you jumped on board with them, or did you help form the group?
Yeah, we formed me and Ryan Dorsey, who's now a city councilman.
Okay. Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan. Me and Ryan got together. We had both went to school for the arts together. And Ryan, before I went in the Navy, used to have like jam sessions at his house.
Gotcha.
And so fast forward, he and I just happened to be like separately looking for each other. And this is before like social media and all that stuff. So it was like, social media was just kind of starting up.
Right.
And so my ex-wife, my wife at the time, ran into him or a mutual friend or somebody at a party and basically put us in touch with each other. Mm-hmm. Anyway, these guys are Peabody trained musicians. I'm excited because I've never worked in that environment before. So
right.
I've always been the type of person I like tackling the unknown. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I like challenges. So we started seriously writing an album and recording an album, and that's when I think I really got um, active recording. I want to tell you about my first real recording studio session. I'm in the Navy.
Okay.
Right?
This is about to get deep.
This dude
Because if
named
it starts
Duke.
out with recording and I'm in the Navy,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm in the Navy. And now, mind you, I had done all crew stuff before. You know what I mean? So I was just one verse. You know what I mean?
Got you.
But I had kind of studied Pac and, but seen all these interviews where, you be ready when you go in the studio. So this dude, Duke, down in Virginia, my brother introduces me to him. Duke is starting this crew called Gold Ball Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Gold Ball Entertainment, he said, yo, I'm blocking the studio off all day Saturday. We're going to be in there from 12 to 12. Come through, shorty, you nice. Cool, bet. He sent me the beat. Well, he got the beat over to me on a CD. Niggas wasn't sending beats.
That's a fact. This is pre-email.
Pre-email. So he gets a CD over to me by like Monday, right? Studio session is Saturday night. Mm-hmm. All week, I wrote my verse and I practiced that shit all week. I walk into the studio and it's a dude in the booth who is fucking up on his ad-libs. Not the verse.
How do you mess
his ad-libs. He's like, keep doing. And I'm seeing everybody in the studio. Now, mind you, this is super intimidating. I'm 19. I'm walking in. I'm not from
Virginia,
VA. I'm not from Norfolk, right? And Norfolk, don't let nobody get it fucked up. Norfolk niggas is scary. These is country, they're country, grimy niggas. You know what I'm saying? So I walk in and, the studio is just, it's your typical rap shit. You know what I mean? Blunts, you know what I mean? But I'm watching everybody irritated with dude in the booth. Like just annoyed with him because he's taking forever. So they finally get him wrapped up. He turned around. He said, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah, cool." I walk in there, boom, one take. Yo, I come out, the whole studio is like, yo, where did you get this nigga from, yo? So the track that I was on, I guess the lead rapper or whatever, the guy that was like, I would say, who would you say, the Method Man or Nelly of the squad or whatever.
Right.
He's like, I gotta change my intro now. So he goes on the intro and he goes, the beat is coming on, the intro, them first 4-8 bars.
Right.
And he goes, for the nigga who fucked up in the booth on his ad-libs, can we get a boo? And it's like, everybody's down laughing, but the whole thing is like, Shorty just came in here right behind you, yo, and just
murdered it.
And they rode him all night, yo. And from then I was just like, I knew not to ever come into the studio and fuck around.
Word.
You know what I mean? I knew just to see that, you hear about it, you hear the stories, or you want to aspire to be, Pac was always ready, Pac was always in the studio and all that. But then to actually see a motherfucker in the booth fucking up, that was shock therapy for me. I was just I never want to be that guy.
It's such a huge difference. So I started out differently. I started out when I had my own studio that I put together. Yeah. So it was common for my homeboys to come through and fuddle along because they didn't have the pressure of having to, like you said, come and be prepared, because it's just us there. Yeah, you can come muddle through it and it's okay. Yeah. But it is something different when you go to a big studio that's really official and you're really I got an hour, I got 2 hours. Yeah, and you got to get it done. Yeah. It's a whole different thing, bro. Yeah. So that's definitely a big salute. So you come out of that obviously with a certain amount of pride. Yeah. A little, you got a little gas in your system because they done gassed you up.
You couldn't tell me shit. You couldn't tell me shit at that point.
You could have ran all the way back to Baltimore just on that gas. So what do you do with that?
I think that was one of those moments for me that I was like, yo, I want to go home and I want to do this from home. You know what I mean? I want to make the world come see us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still on that journey. You know what I mean? With the label and all of that now. I've always been a fan of the cities. You know what I mean? I love studying how Dungeon Family and popped Atlanta off. I love studying how Motown did Detroit, and then Eminem and D12 and them came back and kind of revived it with this hip hop scene. I love thinking about Port Arthur, and Pimp C and Bun B, and how they jumped all that off. Same thing with Houston and
Suave House,
Suave House,
Screwed
and
Up
all
Click.
that. Yeah. Rap a lot. I loved all of those stories, and I always felt like we should have one of those. You know what I'm saying? But we just haven't. Yeah, we should have a couple of them, but we just haven't yet. And so I'm still on. I'm on that journey, man. Like that's where I'm at. Like I want Epic Fam to be, that for the city.
That's what's up. That's deep, super deep. So all right, so you come back after you write the verse, you killed it. What comes next? Do you find a studio or the Soul Cannon?
That's I get out the Navy. I come home. I'm home for a couple years. I'm, kind of like fumbling around with it. I know I stopped through a couple studios here and there. Not really making nothing I'm crazy about yet. You know what I'm saying? And then I link up with Soul Cannon, and I just get this whole different musical experience where now I start to meet a lot of different parts of the Baltimore music scene as a whole. Because these, like I said, they're Peabody trained musicians. So now we're putting together this crazy music that we can't, hip hop clubs is not really, it's like you got a rapper, but I don't know, it's not really hip hop, you know what I mean? And then, some of the just straight rock clubs are like, whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm like, so now I'm performing in these, in these clubs with the white kids. And I'm meeting I'm meeting the experimental, I'm meeting the punk scene, I'm meeting the, just the straight hardcore heavy metal scene. You know what I mean? I'm meeting all of these different kinds of artists, and they're all Baltimore, and all like a couple of degrees of separation from each other.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Matt that plays guitar, I find out he lives down the street from Olu Butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's like I'm finding myself in this kind of nucleus of artists that are coming from the different silos that are set up here. And I just started navigating through it that way. I said, all right, well, we gonna rock. We can do these like indie rock clubs and punk clubs and what you call them, DIY bars and all that. But if Mos Def and Talib and them come through here, we opening for them at Soundstage. You know what I'm saying? So that type of shit, we started to kind of push our way through. You know what I mean? And be like, okay, we a tough act to follow. You know what I'm saying? So, we got Best of Baltimore a few years. We went on some tours. We put out 3 albums. And we still a band, technically. Like, we never really broke up. It's just everybody
in their own different.
Everybody's so dope in their own right. You know what I mean? It's just like.
So wait a minute. All right. So because you kind of sped by something really deep. Like we went on some tours and we rocked some stages. Okay, there are not a lot of artists that independently do everything you did. So kind of get us in. You don't have to give me the intimate details. I don't need the secret to the sauce.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? How in the world did you go from putting a band together to now we're going state to state, we're doing shows.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing I gotta say. Like the DIY kids, the indie rock punk kids. Some people might say just white kids, but there's a lot more kids mixed in there too. They already kind of had this understanding that nobody's gonna come and get you and bring you on tour. You have to book your own tour. You have to fund your own tour. You have to plan your route. You have to, budget for gas, budget for not getting paid on a show maybe. You know what I mean? Have merchandise so that you can constantly make money. I learned that from them. Whereas the black artists were all waiting for a label to come and get them and take them on tour.
Right.
And then I started moving around with the white kids, and they was like, oh, no, bro. Like, I got my dad's van. We're going. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? So then when I started doing solo, same thing. I hooked up with High Keach and ended up, doing a couple of my own tours, just getting out there and doing it yourself, man. It's not the easiest thing, but it's definitely worth it,
Most memorable tour story that obviously can work in front of the current crowd that we have?
Oh man, it's a lot of wild ones. I would say my favorite story was because this taught me that I had something. We did a show in West Virginia, and nobody came.
Okay.
And I had my merch, and of course, with nobody coming, there's no money on the door.
Right.
There's no money on the merch table.
Right.
And I'm broke, and I'm hungry. And so I said, yo, fuck this. I took a handful of CDs with me. The rest of the artists, they was all lollygagging and doing that, friendly shit that people do after bad shows, which to this day I still don't fuck with. But they talking, being friendly and shit. I said, fuck this. I took 4 or 5 CDs with me. I walked out, and I'm walking around Morgantown, West Virginia, and I said, fuck it. I walked up to somebody. I said, look, I'm stuck. Nigga from Baltimore. We just had a show. Ain't nobody come. I got no money. Let me spin around for you. If you don't like it, you can tell me to get the fuck out your face. But if you do like it, would you buy my CD for $5? Nobody told me no. Nobody told me get the fuck out of their face.
Wow.
And that became my backup hustle. Anytime, it didn't happen too much after that, but anytime there was a show where there wasn't no money, I grab my CDs and I walk around. And that's when I knew, I was like, okay, I got something that people like. And, those people started following me on social media. You know what I mean? To this day, every now and then I get hit by somebody that's like, yo, you don't remember me, but you met me in fucking something Kentucky, and you know what I mean? It's like,
you just start spitting rhymes, and I'm wanting the CD.
Yeah. So I think sometimes people always want to hear fun story, and there's all kind of crazy stories, but that's one of my favorite stories because that's a moment where I think a lot of artists, it makes or breaks them. You know what I'm saying? I talked to a lot of artists that was like, yo, I don't tour no more. Fuck that. I'm not with it. You know what I mean? And because they got to that moment.
Right. It's almost like a traumatic moment.
It's traumatic, yeah. It's like you say tour and they just go, oh. You know what I mean? But for me it was like, okay, I got this. You know what I mean?
You just make it happen.
Yeah, just go for it.
At the end of the day, it's product, man. Like it goes back to a conversation we had with somebody else, and they was like, "Yo, your life is all about sales.
Yeah,
you just got to get comfortable with selling. If you don't ever get comfortable with selling, shoot, entertainment ain't the world for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just not what it is.
We are in a customer service business, whether you like it or not.
That is a fact. Look at you. You made that so simplistic.
Yeah,
you are a customer service guy.
We are in a customer service business. Like Andre 3000 said, if it don't move your feet, then I don't eat. You know what I mean? Like
that's a fact. That's a fact. So you go on tour. Now, all right, this is a question I've always had, and I never thought to ask it until now. With you kind of coming up in that training, does it kind of taint how you look at, like when you come back home and you're dealing with the straight black crowd? Does you feel like, man, y'all niggas is lazy? Like, or you know what I mean? Or y'all, does it change how you view the game?
No. I mean, I think that for me, what happened was I had built up this live show energy that I've like somehow, it's just, I don't allow it to be denied, right?
Right.
So if I'm in a room full of black people, I'm giving them the same energy that I give that white room. And I've been in both rooms where the energy is off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mike John was just telling a story a few weeks ago about how I did Unapologetically Black in an all-white crowd and like made them put their fists up. You know what I'm saying? Made them, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So my energy is like, like that. If the energy in the room is dead, then it's my job to revive it, to pep it up. You know what I mean? Like the people have already paid their money to come in the venue. You know, they already bought drinks. They're there for you to do the thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I think what I learned was not to allow, because that black audience can be intimidating. And I watched a lot of MCs go, oh man, what y'all did? What's wrong with y'all? You know what I mean? It's like, no nigga, what's wrong with you? They came here to see you. you're supposed to be doing a thing right now. Don't blame it on them.
Right.
Don't put it on them.
You're not doing the thing.
You're not doing the thing right now. You suck, sir. And that's why they're not moving.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So all right. So like, even if we take it to just a level of your contemporaries, you know what I mean. You have made so much headway in the game, whereas a lot of them are still trying to figure their way out of the blocks. You know what I mean? Does that trying to change your mentality of how? I mean, because even in how you talk to people, man, like you really tell people, you give people that DIY knowledge, and you tell people, you press down on people about that. But I feel like people don't listen, or maybe they just, I don't know, but like,
no, I mean, people like for you to, I mean, people want to see it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, if I pull up a couple years with a Grammy, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I mean, something like that, then people gonna want to come back and be like, oh, what did you do? How'd you do it? You know what I mean? Then that's gonna be a whole story. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just Baltimore. You know, we don't believe shit, until it actually starts stinking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean?
That's so deep, because it's true.
Yeah, we'll see it and be like, that's fake shit. That's, you know what I mean? Like, so, so I feel like that's the thing for me on that. It's like, I'm not that worried about it. I know that once, I know that, we're getting closer and closer to some things. So, I know that once that happens, people will be like, "Oh, this is, what he did."
Right.
But some artists, some of my peers, man, they have taken it, and some of them have even done more than I did with it. You know what I mean? So,
like you know what? I don't know the secret sauce of like Ill Conscious and J Royale, but I seen them take this indie thing to a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When I came off, and it's wild, when I came off my first tour, they like Ill, J, Dirt Platoon, which was real wild to me because I was a Dirt Platoon fan, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they reached out to me when I came back. And that was wild. That was a moment for me that I was like, we got to stop this stigma that Baltimore doesn't support.
Right.
Because it was actually me going on the road and people seeing me for 45 days popping up in different cities and showing, that was when I first really was on my Instagram shit. And people started telling people like, yo, check Easy Out. So when I came home, they all were like, yo. And I'm like, nigga, fuck waiting for these labels. Like, we got to do it ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a prime example of people, I think, saw me do it and then actually, Dirt Platoon was doing
it ahead of time.
They was doing it on their own, too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think, like, Ill and Jay kind of took, a page from our books and then, did, and they running with it.
That's deep.
Yeah.
So
I love them guys too, man. Shout out to shout out J Royale and Ill, man. I miss them, man. We haven't chopped it up in a while. I got a link with them.
J Royale is right here in Baltimore, bro. All you need to do is hit his phone.
I know, but with COVID, but and then with COVID and everything, everybody ain't really been. We normally probably would have crossed paths a few times this year, just organically.
Definitely. Even at when the radio station was popping, that was like the intersection where everybody would bump into each other.
Yeah,
like,
people just fall through randomly,
right?
You
and
know
then
what I mean?
Just be there and shit. Yeah, times have changed.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to. We're gonna recreate that, but it's gonna take some time. Like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But getting back to the storyline, so you kind of like so your group takes a break, you continue on as a solo artist. What ends up being the catalyst for the content, like what ends up inspiring you to create for each project?
I think life in general, you know what I'm saying, growing. I know there was really what put fire under my ass as far as creating content was I had to keep turning down Soul Cannon shows.
Wow.
People were hitting us up and I'd hit them. Our original drummer had moved to New York, so he couldn't always come down, and then Matt and John started doing other bands, and so I just found myself kind of like I'm turning these shows down, and I'm like, no, fuck that. Yo, Soul Cannon can't do it, but I've been working on some stuff.
Right.
And then Mania Music Group signed me.
Got you.
Mania Music Group brought me in, and at that time, DDM. I signed with Mania Music because me and Kane were cool. Me and Kane Mayfield were tight. And still, he's still one of my best friends. But I really wanted to come to Mania Music because I wanted to work with DDM. And then it just so happened that when I got there, he had just left. He had like fallen out with them. But I didn't know like all that was going on.
The inner workings until
I was
inside,
already there. And so that was like that was another make or break moment for me, because now I'm Easy Jackson of Soul Cannon. See, nobody really knew who Easy Jackson was.
Right.
They just knew I was the guy from Soul Cannon.
Right.
Oh, Soul Cannon, this band Soul Cannon, and the rapper is dope. I think he's from West Baltimore. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of conversation. So now I'm like, you know, getting billed as Easy Jackson of Soul Cannon. And then after a while, you know, I dropped of Soul Cannon. It was just, you know, it was that. But yeah, like that, between that and Mania Music Group, that was when I really started to walk into and try to figure out, all right, what's Easy Jackson's content? What am I going to create? What am I? You know.
Word. So what is, if you have to define, you know, my elevator pitch, and you, I'm like, who is Easy Jackson, and what is Easy Jackson's music? What would you say?
I'm rapper, activist, singer, songwriter, Baltimore boy, and everything that I make is, you know, tied up into that.
Reflective of that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Got you. So in this journey of you being a musician and touring and creating and being in a band, how does the politics start paralleling?
Oh yeah, politics is the day job.
Wait a minute, hold up.
Politics.
Normally, politics is the night job, and McDonald's is the day job, or a nursing assistant or something.
Politics was the day job. I wanted to get into community organizing, which nobody really knew what that was, and
still don't know.
Before Obama came. Obama came, and Obama's story, and then now everybody's a community organizer.
Got you.
But community organizing was something I got interested in just because my mother was always somewhat an activist. And she had did some organizing around hypertension in West Baltimore in the mid and late 90s. And so I really was into that kind of community advocacy work. And I figured that would work well for me as an artist because the schedule was flexible, meaning, you know, I could make my own schedule a lot of times.
Right.
So if I was up late recording with Soul Cannon until 2 a.m., I could go into the office at noon and work until 8. And nobody's going to be tripping. You know what I mean? I'm still going to get my shit done. So that, from organizing, that went into political organizing, which meant working on campaigns and actually like getting behind candidates and ballot initiatives and all that stuff. And then I worked for a labor union, so we had membership. So I was working with young workers and getting them involved in activism, getting them registered to vote, taking them to Annapolis and City Hall, letting them see the process of getting bills passed, what the work takes to actually do those things. I got a chance to live that. You know, that was like my 9 to 5.
Right.
So that was a blessing because at first it was like this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing I was doing. Like I was Ezekiel Jackson during the day, and then I was Easy Jackson at night. You know what I mean? And then it just started to kind of come together organically because in both worlds, people were having the same conversations. You feel me?
Gotcha.
So, you know what I mean? So I'm in the studio and niggas is talking about, you know, access to healthcare, the school system, police brutality. You know what I mean? Like these conversations are coming up, you know, in the artist circles, just like it is at work.
Right.
And then I'm living all of this, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm from here, so you know what I mean? I'm dealing with all, you know, family and stuff like that. So it was just like, it was a natural, after a while, it just became this natural merger where, you know, I'm at work and people are calling me Easy, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, then I started telling people at work, hey, look, I got a show. You know what I mean? And so, you know,
don't waste the manpower.
Right.
It's time to grassroots organize my own show.
Yep. And to this day, a lot of my former coworkers are like some of my biggest supporters, you know what I mean? Because they've seen me say, you know, okay, now I'm going to go off and do this full time. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So do you feel like a lot of the skills and elements that you learn in community organizing help you become a better artist, or not a better artist, like a better businessman in the music business?
It's definitely helped me in navigating uh the navigating Baltimore's music scene,
Right.
right? Because with organizing, one of the things that, and one of the schools, the trainings I went to was the same one Obama went to, was Gamaliel, and there's this one exercise or one section they teach you is about the wilderness, and basically how, if you're working on, say, a campaign, right? You have to view the whole thing as the wilderness, and you just got dropped off in this wilderness. So now you got to figure out where your food is, who's the who's the mean motherfuckers, and who's the people who's the animals you can go to for help. You know what I'm saying? How do you what's down this path, what's down that path. So I went to that training one year, and it was like around the time when I was like, okay, I'm go for music full time. And I tried it. I was like, all right, what is my wilderness in Baltimore? You know what I mean? And I found that, knowing and having a good relationship with venue owners, promoters, DJs, you know what I'm saying, was like a great way to go. You know what I mean? So I started doing that. And then, so yeah, it definitely shaped my skill. And to this day, like even with the label, like people are always impressed when they come around Epic Fam now, over these past few months. They're like, wow, like not too many people can put all of these people in a room. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I learned that from organizing. You know what I'm saying? From doing coalition work and all that. You know what I mean? So I apply it to how I move through the city.
Word. I gotta see this. Like, yeah, I gotta see this. I want to bring my beef to the camera. Why I ain't getting no phone call? How many times was I trying to be on the team? I was like, yo, man, let me know, man. I'm trying to help out, man. Whatever you need. And then,
yo, I got you, man. And charge it to my head, not my heart, man.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's a lot trying to navigate everything, but there's room. There's definitely room. There's definitely
you need
room.
all the manpower you can get.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, because I remember we were talking about that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's been a thing I've wanted to do for 6 years now.
Yeah, you were talking about starting a label and putting out product and helping usher artists through the process. Yeah. And giving them cover fire. And it's so interesting because we're in this polarized time with Kanye West dumping 200 pages of a label contract and him talking about ownership of masters while owning people's masters. Which is dickhead. But, so much. So I love the fact that you have taken that step and have showing people a bigger version of you. I feel like the artist is just one side of you. Yeah. But you have the capability of doing so much more. Even I like the time period that you spent at the Real News Network. You know what I mean? Navigating that system. Yeah. It's always complicated, bro. But you seem to do it effortlessly. Like,
Yeah, it's not effortlessly, but it me and Mike even was just talking about this today. We were talking about how whenever you're moving into a new environment or a next level, right, there's a sense of nervousness, a little bit of fear, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you keep going and you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really not like like what's that term? The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they threw me in that journalism fire, and I'm grateful for that. That taught me a whole lot. And then I learned during that process that, my whole approach to that when I was working at the Real News was we as rappers, like, we're already ghetto journalists. You know what I'm saying? We're reporting live from the trenches. You feel me?
That's a fact.
So I was like, I can do this. You know what I mean? Fuck yeah. So I just jumped into it, and that shit was fun. I feel like it gave me that kind of that was another confidence booster for me. That was like, bro, you could do anything. You know what I mean?
The creativity level it took for you to even put together that platform that you created. Yeah. The whole bushel. Yeah. Yes, I hope I said it right. Yeah. I used to mess it up like crazy. But like, the concept of it was dope. And the execution was dope. You know what I mean? To bring something that is very Baltimorean. You know, the concept of us sharing a bushel of crabs and being around the table and talking about real life things, and then intermixing the music component into it. I think that was a genius idea.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we trying to bring it back. You know what I mean? We trying
You
to
know
bring
what I'm saying?
Back.
I know you was about to do the tour at one point. Like, hey, we going to tour all of the crab shacks. And
Yeah, yo, I was trying to
bring everybody. I was like, that's a dope idea.
I haven't given up on it. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just that thing. It's like, you get an idea, you hit a roadblock. You either keep going or you put it down for a second and come back.
And then come back to it later.
Yeah. So
that's definitely the blessing. That's definitely the blessing.
Definitely.
Seeing the landscape evolve over 2 decades. It's 20 years strong, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you feel like how has the local scene changed for the better and changed for the worse?
I think for the better, we definitely work together a lot more than we used to. Man, trying to work with artists before used to be so hard with egos. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean? It was a time, I think, in the city where I probably went up to every artist who was popping and did something in the city at some point and was like, yo, I respect what you do. You know what I mean? And I would say the majority of them gave me this nigga get off my dick response. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, we used to be that way.
There's not so much of that now, and I'm really grateful for that. You know what I mean? True appreciation for your supporters, true appreciation for the other artists. A lot more collaborating and networking going on. I love to see it. I love the fact that I really am particularly proud of the queer kids, the LGBTQ artists who have, the Abdul Ali's and DDMs who just kind of spearheaded a whole new energy and a whole new fresh take on what it is to make Baltimore music. That's one of my favorite things to see.
Yo, that was a Diary of Omar over that. Yo, that is a masterpiece.
DDM makes great albums, man. I've never denied that. Like, that man is extremely talented, and I'm just honored to, I consider him a friend and family. You know what I mean? We've been at this thing so long, but I think the thing that I don't like, and I think everybody's kind of dealing with this, is the fact that social media is so important.
You don't like the fact that social media is important?
I don't, because I think that it's taken away from and maybe I sound like an old head with this. I think it's taken away from the organic creativity. You know what I'm saying? There's this like chasing a wave that I don't really care for. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, we gotta do it. So I'm here. I'm here for the work. I'm with all the shits. But I don't really care for the kind of clout chasey type thing that social media has brought, where it's like, if you don't have this amount of followers, or if you're not, if these people are not posting you on their shit, then you're not nobody. And that's not true. I don't like when artists come to me and they're dope and they feel defeated because they only have 1,000 followers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, that shit don't have nothing to do with the content you're creating. You know what I mean?
I feel like the problem is that we give our children and we give ourselves, we get involved with something without understanding what it is and how to use it and what information means. So I say, let's see like this. If you attain 1,000 followers and they're real followers, you can live a lifestyle off of that. Because if you can sell 1,000 units or something, 1,000 T-shirts or 1,000, if those are 1,000 actively, that's a lot of people. You know,
I've done it. I do it. Like, Bandcamp money hits my account 2-3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Just from people just
supporting.
You know what I mean? And so, but it's like my last album, Fool, that I put out, right? Major labels told me I don't have enough Instagram followers. They won't even listen to the album, bro.
Right.
That's what I don't like.
Right. And I
They
think
told me straight up, we're not even gonna listen to this.
right.
He doesn't have enough followers. And it's like, damn, that's where we at now? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you got to understand the music business is business.
Yeah.
And we have transitioned to a space where they need the influence
Yeah.
just as much, because the influence offsets what they're not making in record sales.
Right.
So your ability to influence the culture is as important to them as your ability to make music.
Right.
And they are almost in the business of influencing nowadays. So it's almost like, all right, so I can sign you and you can make a dope album, but the bigger thing is that I can get you to Fashion Nova. And then you can create a custom whatever, or we can do this, or a clothing line, or whatever. So that's where the difficulty comes in. And we're gonna pause just a moment. So you need to. Did you need something? Oh, go right ahead. So, yo, kids are crazy. So I totally forgot what my brain part is. Oh yeah, back to the social media stuff. I definitely feel where you're coming from. The social media component is big because I feel like, once again, the point I was making with the training and the understanding.
Yeah.
If you don't understand it, like those young people don't understand it, they get emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
So I only have 1,000 followers. That means I'm not cool.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't mean it at all. It just means you haven't learned how to use social media. You haven't learned how to use it. You don't know how to amass different people. You need to read some more books.
Right.
If you're trying to, even down to the, like I try to tell people, like, it's not that the music ain't good. It's just that you haven't found a way to market it to grab people's attention.
Right.
You have to figure that out. Like that is a part of having a business. So I tell people, like, you got to decide who you want to be when you get into this space.
Yeah.
Are you trying to be a dope artist? Because the dope artists don't always get the major deals. They don't always get the major attention. I was like, however, if you're looking to be popular, then you have to adjust your approach to acquire whatever it is that you looking at. So yes, and I can definitely understand that the frustration, because even having a podcast or a YouTube channel, what I do, people don't listen. They, like, I have these great interviews, and then people will be like, all right, well, it only got 100 views.
Yeah.
So do I want to watch it? Because it only got 100. And it's like,
it's like you're going to be the 101 views.
Right. If you just go ahead and watch it. And I'm like, you're going to find something out about a scene. Like, say, for instance, a lot of my interviews are all about the history of Baltimore. So you're, as a new rapper, might want to have some understanding about what was going on before you existed. Yeah. But because you only see 100 views, I don't know if this is the move.
Right.
You're going to lose out on the opportunity of learning something versus just press and play. So, like, I definitely understand. And then me on the flip side, like, when I'm looking for sponsors or you're looking for advertisers or whatever, they're looking at your numbers. Yeah. So it just ends up making So I can definitely understand the frustration. But I also look at it with new eyes of it's a challenge. Let me figure out how to play this game. Like, I don't have a problem with figuring out how to play the game. Like, we can do that. And on top of the fact that it forces you to become the person that you either were meant to be or a person that you didn't know you needed to be. I have to be a front man now. I didn't want to be a front man. I love being in my little radio station with my slippers and my tank top on. But then it was like, you have to be the front. You have to be the focal point to keep things together for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So then you had to step forward. Easy Jackson had to do the same thing. Even when starting your own record label, you needed to be the person to go, let me show y'all how to do this. Yeah. Let me put my rapper hat on. Yep. Let me put this dope ass album together. All right, let me put it out. Now I gotta get on a press run. Let me do the interviews. Let me do the shows. Let me figure out let me show you how to put the merch together. Let me how to associate the merch with the music. And, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the young niggas, they don't know nothing about it. Yeah. So they're literally watching you step by step go through the process so that they can go, all right, I feel more comfortable now. I can step into that space, and then I can be the person.
Exactly. And then I want to be the kind of CEO, too, that every artist knows, look, I've been through this. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not just telling you. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not just telling you out there talking out the side of my ass. Like, I know how you feel. Right now, I'm real happy at the kind of camaraderie I've built with the artists, where when they're feeling anxious or unsure, you know what I mean, they can talk to me because it's like,
Right.
bro, I've been there.
Been
You
there
know
and
what I
done
mean?
that.
Like I know how you feeling right now.
So who you signed? Who's on the label?
So right now we got Y1,
Okay.
Sierra Leone,
Okay.
Wifty Bangora,
Okay.
Wifty.
You got Wifty?
Yeah, we got Wifty.
That's the homie, dog.
We
Go
got,
ahead.
yeah, Wifty's
Go ahead.
dope, man.
Yeah, Wifty is
dope.
fire.
Cliff Love, and a young guy named Louis Otto.
Got you.
They are our starting five. But
Wow.
then that's just like who we right now who we starting out the gate with.
Right. Wifty's dope because she'll just do some stuff at the house and you'll
Yeah.
be ready to go on streaming.
Oh,
Like,
she's great.
oh yeah, I was sitting here with my little recorder
Yeah.
thing and I just
Yeah.
made the whole beat with her voice and
Yeah.
crazy.
She's
stuff.
great. I'm trying to get Wifty out of here. Like
Yeah.
she's worldwide status for sure.
Yeah.
Then we got Ira, Ira Nation.
Not as familiar, but I'm quite sure you're gonna get me
We got
familiar.
Ira, Drizzy, Dre Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
He's been rocking with us. Jazzo. And then we got a bunch of artists that are,
Some more Jay-Z's Jazzo?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm about to-
Jasmine Walters. She goes by Jazzo. She's a singer songwriter.
Got you.
We got a young singer named Imani. She's 19, beautiful voice. And we got a couple like young artists that I'm looking at that I want to, mold.
Right.
So like
right.
a 13-year-old rapper, 15-year-old rapper that I want them by the time they're 18
To be monsters, they ready to go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
Yeah, and I think you bringing them along and them seeing the other ones develop and go through their processes is going to help them become more confident and prepared. So when it's time for them to take the reins, they can do the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? You got a crazy lineup, bro.
Yeah,
you
man.
got a crazy
man.
lineup.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. I'm having fun. We recorded this summer. We recorded over 80 songs this summer for compilation.
For the Ill Fam compilation?
Well, we're going to do
Epic
Fam. Yeah, we're going to do a compilation album. Probably about 10 or 15 of those are going to go on the compilation album. But then some of the artists, have started recording stuff for their projects. We might put out a mixtape, but really I just wanted to start the camaraderie of the collective this summer. So we were in the studio on Sundays, every Sunday and Wednesday all day this summer from June to August.
Gotcha. That's a blessing.
And so we got it in, and some artists didn't. We had a couple artists came through and realized this wasn't what they wanted to do, which is fine too. You know what I mean? But then we got a couple artists that have come in and been like, oh, this is a place where I can grow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I'm really excited about it, man. It's like it's every morning I'm waking up just like happy and excited to be in this position to. These artists trust me with their stuff. They trust me with their thoughts. Apex the Genius is on the squad. Apex the Genius. We got a bunch.
You got a monster line.
We got a squad, yo.
You got the crazy squad, yo. Now I'm super jealous now. I'm talking mad shit when I get on social media. Oh, so you just decided to do all of this without me, huh? I ain't get no phone call or text. Oh, it's definitely going down.
Like I said, there's still room, man. We still got room.
You ain't got no room, bro. You know all the people you got on that lineup.
Bro, I ain't even listed the producers. I ain't even go down the producer list with you.
Come on, don't do that to
but
me,
bro.
But
yeah. So
that's
we got.
crazy.
I mean, I'm really when I say I'm trying to build like, something we have not done here before. I'm really, really trying to do something we haven't done here before.
Right.
I don't think anybody's ever created such a diverse group of artists that's also family. You know what I mean? Like, the rappers are not sitting on one side of the room and you know what I'm saying? They showing up together. They, we breaking bread together. We're collaborating together, and we just haven't done that yet here. So,
word. Yeah. I believe in you, bro. I think you can do it.
Thanks,
I really think you can do it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
now,
it.
how are you handling your mental health through all of this?
It's been, you know what? That's been my biggest challenge. I'm glad you asked that. That's been my biggest challenge, man.
Well, because look, I define myself as a normal person, and I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how everybody else in the world is, considering the fact that I think I'm the most stable human being on the planet.
Yo, bro, this was the first year that I had a show schedule that I could look at and say, this is a sustainable way of life.
Mm-hmm.
March alone, I lost 10 grand in shows just March.
Dang.
And that was going to be the first time I'd ever made that amount of money in a month. Boy, do you know how fucking happy I was walking into March? I was
bet. That's
like, nigga,
10
March
grand.
is here.
Hell yeah.
And then they started telling us, somebody said, you heard that coronavirus? I was like, what? Excuse me? They shut that shit down, yo. And I looked at April. April was about 7 grand. And then I stopped counting after that. But that first month, I was extremely depressed, bro. I was just like, yo, does God hate me? Like, what's going on now, yo? Like, you know, I was extremely depressed, and I had to, I didn't even notice it. I just was like, I just all but, you know, giving up. And then my partner, Demel, hit me, and we just started having conversations about, you know, we had to change the whole plan.
Right.
And, you know, we were going back and forth. And then I realized that, you know, I have to constantly be in an environment of creativity. When I start getting real bad depressed, I can directly equate it to how much I'm creating or how much I'm around creativity. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's been how I've been managing it, like checking in, like, yo. And then, you know, the basic things, drinking water, eating regularly, you know, exercising, making sure I'm not drinking too much. You know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me.
You good?
You know, that's how I've been doing it, man. Trying to stay creative and, you know, try to stay hydrated and healthy.
You do drink. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
you know I can drink.
I know you can drink.
Yeah, but I gotta check.
there.
Yeah, I just gotta check in constantly with myself. You know what I mean? I just gotta constantly. It's an everyday thing. There's some days are better than others. Some days I just isolate, don't answer my phone, don't talk to nobody.
Word.
But then it gets to a point where I gotta be like, okay, you can't. Come on, bro. Like, you gotta.
You can't be totally disconnected.
Yeah, you gotta. You know what I mean? So.
Especially now being a CEO, you have to be accessible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to give them your time. You have to give them your attention. You got to give them pep talks.
Yeah.
You have to be their inspiration.
Yeah.
You've got to be
Yeah.
the person to keep everybody on an even keel. You know what I mean? Because you are, they look at you for their strength.
They're feeding off my energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so Demel's always reminding me of that too. Because he's the business guy. Demel's like, you know, he's the business guy. He's been running businesses and doing this shit since, you know, he was fresh out of high school. You know what I mean? So,
And the thing you have to understand, and I think the people at home need to understand, business people, we're just hated in general.
yeah.
Niggas, because we're the one putting the contract in front of you.
Yeah.
We're the person forcing you to be organized.
Yeah.
So they're not going to go to him for the love and the support. And it's
no,
like the mom and the dad.
Yeah,
Your mom. You're the nurturer and the loving, and he is the law. Like, you know what I mean? This is the
like,
law. And everybody hates the law. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And that's just what it is, man.
But you know, and it was what I need. You know what I mean? I need somebody like that. You know what I mean? Around. So it's been cool. He probably gonna cuss me out tonight. I got some stuff I was supposed to send. You know what I mean? But you know, yeah, that's it, man. Just trying to stay on top of it and understanding. I think understanding that now that, you know, stuff is riding on me. You know what I mean? Has kind of it's helped a lot.
Take you to another level, make you rise to the occasion.
Yeah, you got a different
that.
you got a different kind of purpose now. You know what I mean? It's not just about you. You know what I mean?
You have that ability, like when you do live shows and you bring those crowds out, bro, you kill those crowds. I mean, even you putting the show lineups together are phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
like, yo, when niggas put the pressure on you, you perform.
Yeah.
You do. I mean, whether it's the you know, I'll call it a podcast, but whether you're doing your television show, you know, whether you're doing your media stuff, like whether you're like everything that I've seen you do, even down to the music, like, yo, when the pressure's on, yo, Easy get to making shit look easy. You know what I mean? Trademark, JS1. Easy makes it look easy. You know what I mean? But like, at the end of the day, bro, you have a talent for that. So like, that's why I say, like, I so look forward to you doing entering into this space and having a label and creating. I love that because you have the same level of respect that I have for the music scene. You love the Scooters and the Mooses the same way I love the Scooters and the Mooses. You love the underground and all.
Right
the
now,
people.
YG Tech is my favorite Baltimore artist right now.
Bro,
and I know he
everything.
probably you know what I mean. I
He's
know
everything.
I know. It's probably hard to get to him, but it ain't too hard. I mean, this our city, but
It's not hard to get to him. It's hard to getting him to decide like he won't do an interview. Like he's adamantly avoiding interviews. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, it's not that I can't get to him and he won't say nah or I'm not doing that right now or whatever. Yeah. I think he's just got so many. He's got a big. You talking about a guy with a plan? Yeah, he's got a plan. He's
doing major shit, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm proud of him. Like I root for Baltimore in every way. You know what I'm saying? Every time somebody from the city wins, I cheer for them because I remember there was a day where people, finally, motherfuckers is not talking about we're DC. You know what I mean? We finally have our own identity. There was a time when, you tell somebody you in Baltimore, they're like, oh, DC. And it's like, no, bitch, it's not Baltimore. DC. It's fucking Baltimore.
Right. That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So now we got, we got our own identity. I'm just so proud of the city right now, man. I think we got so much more to offer. We got Vaughn Vargas is the chapter president of the Grammys for our area.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow, congratulations to you, bro.
Yeah, and Vaughn is kicking the door, and like he bringing DDM and me and Cariz and Josh Lay and all these people into the Academy Awards. So now, you know what I mean? That's why I say in a couple years when a nigga pop up with a Grammy, don't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? But it's like because we finally like owning our shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy to be here during this time, just to be mentioned and
to the name of these greats that you just mentioned, yo. And I want to shout out Josh Lake. That was ill.
Yeah.
Josh Lake album fire.
Josh is dope.
Josh's album is fire.
He's dope.
Shit is fire.
And he's so like humble with it. Like when you're around
it's
him,
disgusting.
You almost don't even. You almost miss that he's in the room sometimes.
It's disgusting because he's that good. Like the project is that.
Yeah,
good. You know what
he
I mean?
Really could be like, don't talk to me, peasants.
Right. Exactly. He could, and I wouldn't be mad. I apologize.
I'd be like, you know what?
I shouldn't even. I don't even know what made me think I should have said something because I shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say the same about Cariz, but he's so tall. You can't not miss him. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's like I Am Group walks into a room. You're gonna somebody just brought a tree in here. Like.
Yeah, right.
So like shout out to them, man. Like phenomenal, great people. You know what I mean? Like legendary individuals, and you fall right in there with them, baby boy.
Yeah, man.
You fall. I feel like a lot of them could. I'm not them, but the city and a lot of artists can benefit from your knowledge and what you brought and everything that you've learned, even in this conversation, like that you bring in. Like they need that, bro. They need that.
Well, I mean, people gave it to me. People gave me gems. U was a great mentor. You know what I mean? Just hanging around him sometimes, you would just learn so much. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, just coming up, like there's a lot of people that sold into me, and I'm just always gonna feel that obligation to, pour it back out. So
right.
If I'm around people want to soak up game. Because I'm always trying to soak up game. I'm still trying. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to learn shit. So.
That's a fact.
So
that's a
you
fact.
know what I mean?
And it's good you being a sponge. You know what I mean? To continue to learn and grow.
Definitely.
Well, that's what's up. All right, so let's get into this album you dropped, bro.
Yeah, man.
Come on now. How many joints did we get? Did we get 6?
5. We got 5. 5
joints.
Songs.
So we got the one chick joint, 2 chick joints. Wait, one chick joint.
It's one. Yeah.
You got
one
2
chick.
trap joints.
Nice like this. Yep.
And then like one or two.
5. Finer Trees is Finer Trees is the weed smoking song.
Gotta have one of those. Don't know why, but we need to have one.
I never had one. It's funny. Apex, we was in the studio and Apex was like, bro, as much weed as you smoke, you don't have stoner music. And I was like, hold my beer.
That's a fact. That's the way you bring it to the table. So, all right. So, not only were you bringing this project out to launch the label, but obviously wanting to express yourself, bring something to the table. But what else? What else do you feel like people didn't get initially when they like, all right, the album dropped, this Easy Jackson. Like, what do they need to know about the project?
Well, one, this is my last project for a while. But Station North Sound, who's another producer, one of the producers we've been working with. Station North Sound, he hit me up, and when I went over there, he just really had a a dope variety of sounds.
Right.
And so I said, you know what, I want to do a short thing, 5 totally different type songs, just like I did with Fool.
Right.
That was 10 songs. But I noticed with Fool, most people didn't listen to the whole album. So I'm like, this time, and I've noticed the trend of like shorter songs, shorter albums. People have a shorter attention span now. So I just wanted to hit them with 5 joints that kind of range in talking about different types of goals in life. You know what I mean? Give me a track. Give me a minute. It's just, my braggadocio rap shit but people always talk about how fast I write in the studio. You know what I'm saying? And it's like cinematics and precision. I feel on the demographic of the rhythm. There's no age, limit to perfecting your craft.
Facts.
So give me a track is that. 92 Racks is, I did that one for my young boys. You know what I mean? I'll fuck around and get some racks. You know what I mean? I'm at this place now as a businessman, realizing that, that term, money ain't everything, and it's not all about the money. It's true. But, I've been leaving a lot of money on the floor, and I don't want to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? So 92 Racks is kind of talking about that. Like, I'm trying to go get this money now. We had fun. I did the free shows. We had a good time. We did the ciphers, but...
Now it's time to get this bread. Now
it's time to get bread. I was at my sister's house yesterday. They tried to get me to rap. I was like, I am off work.
That's real.
You cash at me, you'll get a rap.
Yeah.
I'm not rapping for free.
I love that.
This 92 Racks. Nights Like This, you call it the chick joint. Nights Like This, I actually wrote that as if, like, we've all been the toxic person in a relationship. I don't care what nobody say. If you've been around long enough or you've been in enough relationships, at some point you were the toxic one. And so Nights Like This is like from the standpoint of the toxic person realizing that they were the toxic one and now missing that other person. So it's kind of like it hits you like it's a sweet love song, but then when you really, really listen to it, I've had a couple females hit me up and be like,
"Are you a dick?"
Or they're like, "I really hope my ex feel the way you talking in Nights Like This," and I'm like, "Yo, he probably might do, unless you were the toxic one, then he might not be."
He might be waiting for you to give them a call, wondering what the hell going on.
So Find the Trees, you know what I mean? I told you about that one. That's the, Stoner song, me and Apex. I love collaborating with Apex. He always make me kind of step my pen game up. And then Goals, the title track, it's just what it is, you know what I mean? I kind of in this place now. I don't want to hear about, gossip, what people talking about, you know what I mean? I want to talk to people who have goals, I don't be with souls who don't see their goals. I can't feed a soul if I'm in the hole.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just that now. That's where I'm at. You see I got my daughter with me. She got to eat. She need clothes. You know what I'm saying? I got it, it's just, setting goals. I'm entering that stage in my life where that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Setting them goals and accomplishing them.
Yeah.
So, I just, I wanted to put that out there as like kind of my last little full-length project for a while. I'm not going nowhere, but I just wanted to put that out there as a piece, and it had been over a year since we dropped Fool, so, I didn't want another year go by if people were still talking about that album, just give them something new.
Oh, are we getting a Dirty Christmas this year?
I don't know, bro.
Maybe I should have avoided the question. I'll stricken that from the record.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet.
Yeah, that's a thing, baby.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
A thing.
I know.
It's your thing.
Last year was going to be the last year. But now, as 2020 is going and going, I'm starting to feel like maybe we should do it.
I think you should.
You know, I feel like
He said no.
I feel, you know, it's always hard for me to put Dirty Christmas together because my brother died the day after the first one.
Right.
So it really is like one of those things where
It
comes
keeps
around.
taking you back.
Yeah, every time it takes me back to that, and it's kind of bittersweet because I mostly do it because people want to do it again. You know what I mean? But for me, you know, and last year I just was like, after last year I was like, I think next year I want to just stay my ass home and kind of, you know what I mean, chill out. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like with this year, with 2020, everything that's going on, I think that people might enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it might be something cool. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You give them a little flavor this year. You
Yeah.
never know. You know what I mean? Look, you got the lineup too.
And we
got
can
the
live
squad.
stream. We can live stream it this time. You know what I'm saying?
You
Maybe
know,
get people.
you can sell
just-
limited tickets for the
Yeah.
in person, and then you know people can
Yeah.
still get the other joint. I think that might be it. And it's not like you ain't got the connects to make it happen. So you
Right,
can make it
right,
happen.
right, right. I just gotta get on this soon.
No pressure. No pressure. I'm just, just throwing it out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? I hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all have any additional questions, you can drop them in the comment section because I can always get them back on later on if necessary. However, before we do that, tell them where they can find you. Tell them where they can get the music. Tell them where they can find Epic Fam, the whole nine.
Yeah, the website is epicfamlife.com. And the music, the album goes is streaming on everywhere where you can listen to music. Goals. Yeah, and just Google Easy Jackson, Epic Fam. We got stuff coming out. Me and Greenspan just dropped the Cherry Blossom. You see Cherry Blossom? You see the video?
I ain't see nothing,
I gotta show you
bro.
that Cherry Blossom.
Okay.
Me and Greenspan.
What's up, Green?
That's gonna be the first song. That's the first song off the Epic
You
Fam
gonna sign
compilation.
Greenspan? Can we get a Greenspan Epic Fam? scenario?
Greenspan is on the council.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, he's
Greenspan,
sitting on the council?
Greenspan is collective member on the council, man.
Okay.
Like me and Green, over the years, Green has been my favorite rap collaborator. I love working with him, but more than that, as a friend and a brother, he's great with. When he has an idea about a strategy I should use, he will call me and be like, bro, I think you might be missing something over here. You know what I mean? So I always try to keep Green close. You know what I'm saying? We got a mutual reciprocal relationship that I'm really happy about. So yeah, so the first single we put out for the compilation had to have Green on it.
Word.
You know
That's
what I mean?
lit, bro.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
with that. I'm with that.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
I hope we. Yeah, I feel like y'all should do an album together. Yo.
Yeah, I think we might. I think we might.
Easy Greens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like
Yeah.
that. You know?
Yeah.
Easy Span. Span Green. I don't know. We'll come up with something. We'll come up with something. But all right, so make sure y'all lock in. If y'all haven't streamed the album, the album is dope. Officially stamped by JS1. We still gonna do the review. Don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Me and Pill got a line of yours and like 4 other albums we all gonna record. So like you will see the review. It will come out soon. I'm not gonna tell you what we're gonna say on the review. Obviously, I'm not gonna say it sucks, but we gonna have some funny shit.
I did
to say.
see. I saw you did a couple of them, and I like that you're honest. That's dope.
A lot of people don't appreciate the honesty, but it is what it is. I'm trying to avoid getting shot. Baltimore niggas are sensitive.
Yeah.
Don't forget these niggas do not play in the city. So like we be trying to get it in but not get killed at the same time. So like we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We check you next time. Don't forget to follow at JS1 at JS the number 1 THASUPPLIER on all platforms. At Aries Lounge at VVC Radio. We love y'all. We check you next time. And if you have not done so, please go back and check out a lot of these great one-on-ones like we've done with 100 Grand Man, Cooley High interview is phenomenal. If y'all haven't taken time to watch that, you definitely need to go back. But all the rest of them, Baltimoreans, they are the Baltimore artists. Don't forget to connect with them. We love y'all. Peace.